What's up, dogs and dogettes? Welcome to my Mass Effect 2 review video where I go through what I liked and disliked about the second installment of the incredible Mass Effect trilogy. So Mass Effect 2 made a lot of changes from the first installment of the series. In the previous review, I put forth my top 5 likes and dislikes and figured I'd go the same route with this game. Then I stepped back and wanted to see what I liked that they changed from the first game that made some sense, and then what didn't make sense. They added so many improvements into the game that drastically improved the enjoyability and playability of the game. I will give a quick synopsis of Mass Effect 2 and then go into the changes that made this game so fun to play and the changes, the few of them, that made me scratch my head. Mass Effect 2 starts off right after Mass Effect 1 ends. Aboard the Normandy, when a collector vessel comes and ambushes us. Shepard quickly rushes people to the escape pods, but in an effort, he is killed. My first reaction was, this game is really short. I knew that wasn't the ending, but I was like, wow, that's a weird way to start a game. And where are they going to go from here? Well, Shepard's body is somehow found within the wreckage of the Normandy by a rogue human agency called Cerberus. Cerberus has what is called the Lazarus Project that takes a 2-year dead Shepard and brings him back to life. Not much in the way of side effects either. He basically starts running and shooting shortly after waking up. No need for rehab with this beast. He then does the bidding of the leader of Cerberus, called the Elusive Man, in an effort to find out what the collectors are doing, gathering up organic colonies, and who they are working with, or for. Well, it turns out that Sovereign wasn't the only Reaper ship out there. There are thousands, and the collectors are working with them to build some new weapons to help wipe the organic species from the galaxy. A 50,000-year cycle that has been going on for longer than anyone or anything can remember, except maybe the stars and planets involved in inhabiting these organics. You slash, shoot, grenade, biotic, and fly your way through the galaxy in search of clues and a way to stop the collectors and Reapers. Now that the recap is out of the way, we can get to the likes and dislikes when compared to the first game. First thing I liked about the game is, upon starting it up, you get to import your character and all of his or her choices you made from Mass Effect 1. So it really does just continue your own unique story from the first game. And there are many instances in the second game that reference an action that you did in the first game. I thought that was an amazing idea and concept. It makes the story you are making yours, and yours alone, and you can always go back and start a fresh story in either games. But continuing was a big plus for me. Another great piece of thought they finally put in the game is the auto-saving aspect. I was so irate at the first game when I would finish part of a mission, or even a whole mission, and wouldn't save automatically. And I had to redo so much of the game that caused me so much grief. No more grief though. Autosave literally saved me. It saved me time, patience, and kept me at a lower blood pressure, which is nice. Another cool concept they threw in was the change in hacking to actual little mini games that relate to either computer code or crossing wires in order to bypass either a safe, door, or system. I like doing the games, but once you figure out how to do the games, they became so easy with no real time constraint. The hacking in the first game was sweet since you had to react to the button that needs to be pressed and then press it quickly, or you locked out of the system and don't get the upgrades or anything inside or around the corner. They finally removed the elevators. Thank God. I understand that there are load screens in the first game, but the amount of time you watch your character stand in an elevator was ridiculous. They took them out and just put in loading screens, which are okay, but at least you know it's a loading screen and will last a finite amount of time. It wasn't the most annoying thing in the world, standing in elevators, but it wasn't necessary to have them. And they saw the reason in their own game and chose to remove it from Mass Effect 2. They also removed the long driving scenes with the tank. I did like the tank idea in the first game, but didn't like the 10 to 25 minutes of driving to get to a place with only moderate resistance along the way. I kind of wish they kept the tank to add another aspect to this game, but wanted them to tweak the controls and limit the amount of downtime between the battles. The environments were super cool to experience firsthand in the tank in the first game. It's something you don't get in this game when just bouncing from battle to battle. They should have left it in, but in a limited capacity just to explore the environments of the planets that you have to go to for the missions. It's amazing what they did to the color of this game and overall feel. In the first game, it was mainly a blue overtone with blue upgrade screens and was a very low-tech looking game, even though it was meant to be a high-tech game. The changes to the brighter orange and black overtone added a lot to the feel of the futuristic galactic world this was set in. The sounds are much crisper, they got their grasp of the feel of the Mass Effect world and player interface. I do wish that they had some other vehicles to use to explore the visual aspects of the worlds, like in the first game. But when you expand the galaxy to hold more planets, suns, nebula, you have to give some stuff up in the way of memory. Still a great upgrade from the first game. They also increased the amount of squad mates you could have, to add to a greater uniqueness to the game by choosing a completely different squad for just about every mission if you wanted to. They brought back old familiar faces that made you smile from the first game, and also a few new faces that brought their own personality and uniqueness to the game. In Mass Effect 2, you did a lot of scanning of planets. You scanned the planets for resources, and this will unfortunately take up a bunch of your time if you want to upgrade your ship, or your weapons, or your armor. But it had an added benefit as well, is that you got to explore the galaxy and go to a whole plethora of planets. And I admire the backstory of the worlds and systems. I admire them so much that you get to completely strip them of resources and leave them dead and lifeless, which is hilarious. Speaking of resurrection, they also resurrected the Normandy, Shepard's flagship, to coincide with Shepard's resurrection. They did improve the ship with a better AI, a greater galaxy interface, and a few more places to explore in the ship, and also a fish tank. The armor color and style is customizable, and the clothes he is wearing can be changed, and are even laughable, especially with the space cowboy that I employed the entire game. A cool little feature they added is interrupting the NPCs during dialogue sequences with the LT and RT buttons of your controller in an either supportive or demonstrative way. It added a little more player involvement to a situation, makes you stay on your toes throughout the game and not just sit back through endless dialogue. My toes are now stronger because of this game. One thing that you can choose to do in this game is help the squad mates that the elusive man wants you to get to join your team, is do a side mission for them. I did the side missions in this game for every squad mate character, and those side missions, when completed, gives you an extra upgradable ability that you can use to level up and fight against the enemy. It also leads to other benefits, if you know what I mean. Booyah! Oh yeah, let's see that again. Swing! I know what you're thinking. It seems that with all these amazing changes to the game that you're labeling and pining over, Hark Dog, there must not be anything wrong with it at all, right? I would say there isn't much wrong with this game, except a couple little items. First, why did they go with the magazine-based weapons? I didn't need to reload my gun in the first game, and it seems that the Galaxy completely forgot this technology or discarded it, and went back to the archaic ammunition-type guns. What? Why? No way an ammo-based gun is better. So instead of waiting for the weapon to cool down, I have to reload, or worse, go around scrounging for ammunition when I shouldn't have to. Why did they make this change? Was the game too easy with the cooldown style weapons? The last major thing I did not like was the lack of weapons. I was stuck with this machine gun pistol thing for the first 15 episodes, or about 6 hours of the game. I love using the pistol and sniping with them, and was stuck with an accurate automatic pistol and less accurate assault rifles. It wasn't until the collector particle beam weapon that I finally felt like I had a good weapon that I could count on for crushing enemies. Why couldn't I find a decent weapon along the way like I did in the first game? I did find later on that I could buy weapons, obviously, from the Citadel merchants, but felt like I shouldn't have to stop at the Citadel to find weapons to use. I could just loot someone's body or find another weapon. What the hell? It's not that hard. In conclusion, it was so hard to find things I didn't like about this game. They improved on it in so many ways that I almost felt guilty picking out things that annoyed me. I loved the first game so much, but found that this game was such an improvement from a gameplay and aesthetic standpoint that it now ranked ahead of the first game in my opinion. It may never be the first game in many gamers' eyes since it was such a breakthrough game, but this is my review and not theirs. From the collectors working under the Reapers, like the Geth did in the first game, resurrecting myself and working under a rogue human sect with a shady leader, corruption, revenge, and desire, all the bases of a successful sequel were covered, and it brings you back and me back for future installments, excited to continue your own unique story in the Mass Effect galaxy. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of Mass Effect 2. Remember to thumbs up the video, comment on my review process, what you liked and didn't like, and subscribe for more gameplay reviews from your boy HarkDog25. And we'll see you in the next Mass Effect games. Take care. Hey dogs and dogettes, be sure to click on the links here to check out my playthroughs for each of the Mass Effect games to see where I got all these crazy ideas from for my reviews.